Are you familiar with the Man-Eaters of Savo? In the year 1898, two lions wreaked havoc in a region of Kenya, causing widespread panic among the locals. Their reputation as man-eaters were notorious, and their attacks left the residents in a constant state of fear. Join me as we delve deeper into the story of the Man-Eaters of Savo and the man who put an end to their reign of terror. The human race has been able to work its way to the top of the food chain by successfully creating environments that are safe and secure, which in turn provides us with a sense of comfort and security. This feeling of superiority, however, is quickly put to the test when we are confronted with the true beasts that nature has to offer. The tale of the Man-Eaters of Savo serves as a timely reminder of just how defenseless humanity can be in the absence of its cutting-edge technology and creative ways of thinking. In the year 1898, a pair of lions known as the Man-Eaters of Savo caused widespread panic in a region of Kenya. They were notoriously infamous for their reputation as man-eaters, and as a result, the locals were left in a state of constant fear as a result of their attacks. The main character of this tale is a man named Johnny Henry Patterson, who went to Mombasa in the colony of British East Africa in the year 1898. The formidable fortress known as Fort Jesus served as a barrier between the inhabitants of the city and the many wars that broke out as a direct result of the city's prominent geographical position. Fort Jesus was constructed to shield the citizens from the dangers posed by these conflicts. The recent purchase of Fort Jesus by the British government underscored the importance they place on retaining control of the port, which gave them the ability to exert influence over the flow of maritime commerce. Patterson's arrival in Mombasa occurred at a time when the man-eaters' rampage was at its peak. Consequently, he was given the responsibility of putting an end to their attacks. The events that took place in the following chapters are tales of valor, inventiveness, and a profound reverence for the majesty of Mother Nature. It is a jarring reminder of how easily our status as the dominant species can be undermined when pitted against the unbridled force of the natural world. In the year 1896, the Uganda Railway Committee, which was based in London, came to the conclusion that it would be beneficial to build a railroad that would stretch for 1,000 kilometers across the land, beginning in Mombasa and ending in Busha. It was decided that Lieutenant Colonel Patterson of the British Army would be in charge of supervising the project and make sure that it was moving along as intended. Patterson received his orders to supervise the construction of a bridge over the Savo River after spending a week in Mombasa. The bridge will cross over the river. Patterson, who was eager to get started on his new job, took the train out of Mombasa and was mesmerized by the verdant scenery along the way. On the other hand, as soon as he entered the Taru Desert, the landscape abruptly altered, serving as a portent of the impending gloom that would soon follow. When he arrived in Savo, he discovered 8,000 Indian laborers camping 7 miles away from the terminus of the unfinished railway. The initial assaults didn't take a very long to start happening. Patterson initially disregarded reports of a lion attack and suspected that the missing worker had been murdered by his co-workers rather than having been killed by a lion. Patterson's suspicions were, however, put to rest when a lion attacked and killed an Indian warrior who had been hired to protect the workers. The lion then ate the warrior. Singh's heel had mapped a path of desperation towards the darkness where he was taken, and the paw prints in the sand were recent. Patterson spoke to a workman who had witnessed the attack and learned that the lion had entered Singh's tent and mauled him by the throat while the man inside the tent listened to his cries of desperation. This information was obtained after Patterson spoke to the workman who had witnessed the attack. This marked the beginning of a terrifying ordeal that would involve several more attacks by the same lion over the course of the ordeal. After the gruesome discovery that Patterson made of Singh's remains, he was resolved to find the lion that were responsible for the attack and bring them to justice. When he investigated the area, he found that there were remnants of flesh and larger bones that had been left behind, which led him to conclude that there must have been 2 lions present during the attack. Patterson gathered Singh's remains and buried them, but he kept the head for himself so that he could identify Singh in the future. He continued to follow the lions along the river, but eventually became separated from them when the ground became uneven and rocky. Patterson made his initial attempt to hunt the lions that same evening. This was Patterson's first attempt. He sat in a tree close to Singh's camp in the hope that the lions would come back for more prey at some point. A few of the workers joined him, while the others remained in their respective tents. Patterson sat and waited in complete silence for 2 hours before he heard screams coming from another camp located about half a mile away. The lions had once more succeeded in their mission, this time dragging a worker away from their tent. Patterson continued his pursuit of the lions by hiding in the trees close to the tent of the most recent victim. On the other hand, the lions were always one step ahead of him and were able to successfully elude him each time. More human beings were attacked and taken out by the beasts as they continued their reign of terror. Patterson's efforts to locate the lions during the day were thwarted by the thick vegetation of the Savo jungle, which gave the animals a competitive advantage over him. The pursuit of the lions developed into a game of cat and mouse, with the lions consistently being able to outwit Patterson and escape capture. Patterson, infuriated and resolute, vowed to exterminate the beasts and put an end to their lethal attacks. Patterson did not give up in his pursuit of the two beasts that had been terrorizing the workers in the area, despite the fact that he encountered a number of obstacles along the way. He tried many different methods, such as crawling and stalking, in an attempt to find where they were hiding, but to no avail. The lions continued to assault and seize workers with astonishing accuracy, giving the impression that they knew precisely where to strike and when. Their assaults became more brazen and more frequent, even happening behind thick fences or around campfires, which led to workers to believe that they were not merely beasts, but rather the devil himself in disguise. Patterson was another victim. He awoke to find footprints all around his tent when he was attacked. Patterson, realizing the gravity of the situation, took action by moving to a more sturdy hut and surrounding the area with high thorn fences in order to protect himself and his family. However, the lions continued to find ways to circumvent the barriers and capture the workers while they were asleep. The killings became so regular that the workers lived in constant fear of being the next victim. In one tragic incident, some workers sought refuge in Patterson's quarters, leaving a man alone in their tent. Patterson went back to rescue the man, but it was too late. The poor bloke had already succumbed to shock after being left alone at the mercy of the lions. Despite his best efforts, Patterson was unable to stop the relentless attacks of the two beasts. The construction of a bridge in Savo, East Africa, was halted due to a series of attacks by two maneless lions that had developed a taste for human flesh. The workers fled the area in fear, leaving colonial officials to intervene. Despite numerous attempts to eliminate the lions, they evaded capture, and some workers believed they were supernatural beings. Finally, a man named Patterson devised a plan to trap the lions using a wooden stage and a dead donkey as bait. He waited patiently and was eventually able to shoot and kill both lions. The construction crew returned to the site and completed the bridge in February 1899. Although the exact number of people killed by the lion is unknown, Patterson estimated it to be around 135. He turned the infamous creatures into skin rugs, which can still be seen at the Field Museum of Natural History in Chicago. This story serves as a reminder of our vulnerability to nature and the apex predators that inhabit it. Despite our intelligence, we are not immune to their power and must always be vigilant when venturing outside of our protected environments. The Savo man-eaters will forever be remembered as vicious beasts, a dark chapter in the history of Uganda railways. As we come to the end of this harrowing tale, it is clear that the true power of nature is something that should never be underestimated. The Man-Eaters of Savo serve as a stark reminder of just how vulnerable we can be when confronted with the might of the animal kingdom. John Henry Patterson's story is one of bravery, determination, and the unbreakable human spirit. His unwavering commitment to bringing an end to the Man-Eaters' reign of terror serves as an inspiration to us all. As we reflect on this story, it's important to remember that while we have developed sophisticated technology and created safe environments, we are still just one part of the natural world. We must continue to respect and appreciate the awe-inspiring power of nature. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you at the next one.